Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today we are going to continue the Harry Potter universe series. Now, this is the last movie in the Harry Potter series. However, there are still 2 movies in the Harry Potter universe that we still have to go over. So, next week we'll be doing Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And we'll be doing the second Fantastic Beasts movie the following Monday. And that'll wrap up the entire Harry Potter series. It's been a good series. I mean, we did, 8 weeks so far. But just so you guys are aware, right after that one, starting the 16th, we're going to start a Steven Spielberg series. We're going to watch every Steven Spielberg movie ever made. So if you're interested in that, make sure you guys are subscribing. But for now, let's just talk about Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 was released in 2011, which feels like so long ago. It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. Actually, since July 15th, I think, so pretty close to when this comes out. At the end of, this whole series for me happened. It's crazy to me because, I watched this in theaters. I loved this movie when I was a child. I read the book, literally right before it came out. It was insane. I was a huge Potter fanatic when I was younger. And today, I still really love and appreciate Harry Potter, but not as much as, little child me did. But, first of all, no spoilers, of course. I'm not going to spoil the end of, this wonderful series for you guys. But I do want to mention that this is the reason why people should watch the other movies, right? Watching my reviews for this, you'll realize that I know that most of these are not good. Right, the first 2 are great, the third one is fantastic, the fourth one's pretty good, the 5th and 6th ones are just almost unbearable, and then the last one was okay, and then this one is just perfection. I don't consider a lot of things cinematic masterpieces, but I think this one might be a cinematic masterpiece. It's hard to find something wrong with this film, and I think I could if I really tried. I think that the beginning was a little slow. I think that splitting the film into 2 parts was an interesting choice. I think it was a necessary choice, but splitting it where they chose was interesting. And it picks up slow, but then it ramps, and it just goes. And I think it's really, really well done. The special effects were super ahead of its time. I mean, sure, it was 2011, so it's not too hard, but, still. You find movies nowadays that still aren't as good in terms of special effects as this one was, right? It's like, you have Harry Potter, and you have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's it. And, this came out before the Avengers came out. This is, crazy in terms of special effects. With all the giants and then, all the magic. It looks so good. But the story progression here is so fantastic. It's very close to the book. I'm very impressed with how close to the book they stuck, It's very close. Especially considering, the 5th and the 6th ones were just really far off. This one was, almost line by line. Is fantastic. And the feeling of loss when a character dies is just such a hard feeling to fight for and to work past. And I think that they instill those feelings very, very well in this one. The acting is phenomenal. I think that Daniel Radcliffe finally understood here that this is what he's supposed to do. This is acting. This is actually acting. Everything else that he's done is not bad, but this is definitely where he steps up and is I am the lead. I need to be good here. And not only is I think his acting better, but the design of Harry is finally good. As I discussed in the previous one, in my previous video about the part 1, the scruffiness of Harry Potter is perfect, because a lot of movies, when they have their leads, they have to be super perfect looking all the time, so they're attractive, so that people would want to buy tickets to them. But this one, they purposely give them kind of a rugged, almost I haven't shaved in a few months kind of beard. It's not a few months, I guess it's a few weeks, but still, it looks good on him. It really does. It really sets him apart from the rest of the cast. It gives him this rugged feel of I just need to get this done, and it really, really works. It works in terms of it being an action movie, which is what it is. Most of the other films are not action movies. They're mystery films or fantasy. This one's an action fantasy, and I think it works really well. I think that the battle at the end was really, really well done, because it takes the course of 6 or 7 hours probably, and they do it in about an hour and a half, and it's really impressive. The Lord of the Rings had an issue with this, where they would have the entire battle take the entire course of a movie, and I'm not interested in that. But this one really worked. They were able to put story in the middle of this, and of course explaining the ending. I'm not going to explain it because it's a spoiler, but trying to explain the ending to someone is incredibly difficult because they have to learn about Snape, and they have to learn about Draco, they have to learn about all these characters that are just impossible. And so they make it super easy to understand what happened the night that Harry's parents died. It's incredible. I mean, reading it is my favorite thing. I will sometimes just pick up the Deathly Hallows book, and I will just read that chapter about, Snape's, past life. I will just read that. I love that part of Deathly Hallows. It's my favorite part of Deathly Hallows. And I think it is really, really well done in this film. I am very, very happy with it because it could have been a disaster. Let's see, what else is there that I really liked or didn't like? I mean, there's almost nothing I didn't like. It's such a fun film. I mean, it's 2.5 hours long, but it feels like the shortest film. But you're just sitting there and you're like, wow, this is like actually really good for the first time, at least in a long time. Especially watching them all straight through, which I've done before. I've watched them all straight through, like, just sitting there on a couch and watched it for, like, 12, 13, 14 hours or whatever it takes. Me and my friends did it once. It's fun. But this is definitely the most well-rounded Harry Potter film for sure. Oh, I want to mention the tone. I've mentioned this in the past 4 films because it's David Yates who's directing this every single time. And in the 5th and the 6th ones, he got the tone all wrong. He did not understand. The last one was fine. It was getting better. This one, he fully understood the tone because David Yates has this tendency of making everything wicked dark for no reason. Like, the 5th movie, for instance, is just super dark for, like, no reason, right? I get the ending should be dark, I get it. But the entire film does not have to have that same tonal value as the end. And then he made up for that by, in the 6th film, making everything super loosey-goosey when it should have been much more dark. And in part 1, the tone doesn't really matter. You can kind of make that however you like, because there is a little bit of both in there, and I think it works pretty well. But this one is finally, he's allowed to make everything super dark and important. Every line in this film is super important, and he can show that using his tone, which I'm finally proud to say worked. And hopefully David Yates, over the process of filming these 4 movies, has learned that tone can really make a film good or bad. And it's something that it's not easy to learn. Like, even I'm sure if I was making a film, I would mess up that for sure. Because tone is just a feeling. You have to make sure it feels right, which is just too hard to teach. You have to just learn it. Excuse me. And I don't know, I think that I can't remember if he filmed Fantastic Beasts or not. I think he did, but I could be wrong. But I haven't seen them in a very long time. I've watched them both once each. No, it's not true. I watched the first one twice. So I watched the first one in theaters, then I watched the first one right before I saw the second one in theaters. So it's been a while since I've seen it, because for some reason they're, like, delaying the third one, like, a lot. I think the current goal is to get it out by 23, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. This is going to take forever. I'm going to be, like, 50 when the last one comes out. It's ridiculous. But I think this is a fantastic end to a wonderful series that will just get, picked on forever. I mean, they're just going to keep adding things to it. We might get a Cursed Child movie at some point. I hope not. I did not like the Cursed Child, personally. That's on me. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But overall, I'm going to have to give Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 an A+. A great film. This is the reason why people would want to watch the other films. It's just so they can watch this film. This film is one that I will go back to over and over again. It is my favorite Harry Potter movie. It is so solid. The third one's pretty close. Prisoner of Azkaban's pretty close. I think the tone for that one's really, really good. But this one definitely takes the cake. I think it just steps up to the plate and is really like, hey, we're going to be good. It's like, okay, cool. Really, really solid movie. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely should. I know that at least it was on HBO Max. I think they're not on there anymore, but maybe they are. I'm sure you can find them somewhere. I have mine on Blu-ray. I have a Blu-ray set right there with all 8 of the films. I don't have Fantastic Beasts yet. I have to order those on Amazon probably tomorrow, but we'll see how it goes. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate it. Subscribe if you like what you see. We got more coming. We have videos every single day. Every single day I have something coming out. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys are subscribing. Also, if I have not hit 150 yet, make sure you guys are subscribing, because once I do hit 150, I'm going to be dressing up like Spider-Man and going to Walmart. So if you guys want to see that, which I know you do, because who doesn't, Make sure you guys are subscribing, liking the video, sharing with your friends, and as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.